Okay, so now we will see this convention of signs or the sign conventions. Okay, the sign convention. So sign convention says that the abscissa is positive. Okay, and by now you know what's abscissa already, right? Which is abscissa? Abscissa, yes, it is this x-axis. Okay, x-axis also called as abscissa. So this abscissa, when we measure abscissa from this center, what is the center called as? The center is called as the origin or the point of origin, right? So from the point of origin, if we measure this abscissa to the right, okay, if it is measured to the right, then abscissa is what? It is positive. So for a positive, we give it a plus sign. Okay, so when the abscissa, that means this horizontal line, if you measure it towards the right, if you measure this horizontal line towards the right, okay, then it will be, we will give it positive. Okay, it will be positive. And then if we measure this abscissa to the left from this point of origin, you see this point of origin I wrote here O. Okay, so from this point of origin measure to the left, then it's taken to be as negative or minus. Okay, so the numbers, we will write the numbers. Suppose if this is 0 or 1, so the 0, which is O, okay, origin is 0, then this will be 1, okay, plus 1, plus 2, and then plus 3, plus 4, and so on and so forth. Okay, on 5. Okay, so and then this side, from this point of origin or from this O point of origin, okay, the value will be 0, then here will be minus 1 to the left, and then this will be minus 2, then this will be minus 3, then this will be minus 4, and this will be minus 5. Okay, so these are your values. So on the abscissa, from the origin to the right it is positive, from the origin to the left it is negative. Okay, all right, then the ordinates. Okay, so what is ordinate now? Ordinate is your y-axis. Okay, so what are the sign convention for ordinate? Now sign convention for ordinate is what it is, positive if it is measured above x-axis. So above x-axis, this one, it will be positive. So the numbers will be positive. It will be like this. Okay, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, like that, plus 5. Okay, then if it is measured below the x-axis, it will be negative. Okay, so this ordinate, if we measure it below the x-axis, this is x-axis, and if anything is measured below this x-axis, they will become negative. Okay, so up here will be plus 1, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, and so on. Okay, down here will become minus 1, and then minus 2, then this point will be minus 3, then this point will be minus 4, okay, minus 5. So this is how the sign conventions are given. Okay, so remember, for the x-axis, anything from the point of origin to the right taken to be as positive, from the point of origin to the left they are all measured as negative, from the point of origin up or above the x-axis they are taken to be as positive, from the point of origin below they are taken to be as negative. Okay, so these are your sign conventions that you should remember. All right, okay, and now we see that in this, if you have your graph paper, or if we have this plane of paper, and I have divided this plane of paper, okay, into two axes, that is the vertical axis and the horizontal axis. Now we see it forms here four portions are formed, right? And these portions we call them as quadrants. Okay, quadrants, it comes from the word quad. Quad, this QUAD, quad means, it means 4. Okay, so here there are 4 parts or 4 quadrants. Okay, so the first quadrant, it is made of this portion here, X, O, Y. All right, X, O, Y, this one will make the first quadrant. So the first quadrant, we will write it with Roman numeral 1. Okay, Roman numeral 1. Then from here, X dash, okay, X dash O, Y, this one will form the second quadrant. Okay, this one will form second quadrant, and we write the second quadrant in Roman numeral number 2. Okay, and then we have this one below, this is the third quadrant. So this one will be X dash O and Y dash, right? X dash O, Y dash. This area which is formed by X dash O, Y dash, we call it as the third quadrant. So it's written Roman numeral 3. And then we have this X, O, Y dash. X, O, Y dash, this one is formed it is a fourth quadrant we call, and we write it with Roman numeral number 4. Okay, all right. And so this one, we go it from this is the first quadrant. Okay, from the first quadrant we measure, or we go anti-clockwise. Okay, anti-clockwise like this. So this is the anti-clockwise. If we go from here, this will become 1, 2, and then 3, 4. So we go anti-clockwise, not clockwise. Okay, now in this first quadrant, the sign conventions for the first quadrant, it will get plus and plus, because for this first quadrant, for any point to fall in first quadrant, what does it need? It needs to be made of the abscissa and the ordinate. Okay, abscissa and the ordinate. So here, to get any point in this first quadrant, the abscissa must be, we have to get 1 point on the abscissa. Okay, and we have to get another point on the ordinate, or the y-axis. Okay, and if the points fall here, any points that fall in this first quadrant, the sign convention will be plus and plus, because see, in the x-axis also, if you measure x-axis, that means you are going from the origin to the right side, so they will get positive sign, right? And then for the ordinate also, from the point of origin, if you go up, then what will it be? We know that from the point of origin, if it is measured above the x-axis, it will be positive value, right? So here we get x is positive and y is also positive. Okay, but in the second quadrant, we see now, if you want any point, if any point falls on the second quadrant, on this region, now this second quadrant is made up of what? It is made up of x dash and y. So this x dash, it is made up of what? It is made of all points that have negative, right? Sign convention for x dash is what? All negative. So therefore your x here will be negative. Okay, your x here will be negative, and your y will be positive sign. Okay, so this is your sign convention for second quadrant. Now in the third quadrant, to get this third quadrant, we get what? We get x dash and y dash. So in x dash and y dash, it will be made up of x minus and minus. Okay, so x also will be minus and y also minus. Okay, your x will be minus and y will also be negative sign. Okay, then in the fourth quadrant, how do we get this fourth quadrant? Any point that falls on the fourth quadrant, it should be made up of your x-axis will get plus, and your y-axis will get negative sign, negative value. Okay, negative value. So this is how we will get your first quadrant, second, third, and fourth quadrant. All right, now we'll come to the distance formula. Now please remember and read this formula. It says PQ, to find any distance between 2 points P and Q. Okay, the 2 points P and Q. So to find the distance between any 2 points P and Q, so we'll use this formula: square root x2 minus x1 whole thing square plus y2 minus y1 whole thing square. Okay, that is the difference of the abscissa. X is abscissa, right? x2 and x1, so abscissa, and these are the ordinates. So the difference between the abscissa plus the difference between the ordinates, we will get the distance between 2 points P and Q. Okay, so for example, we have 2 points. We have point A and point B. We have a house in point A. All right, we have a house in point A, and then another house in point B. Just for example, okay, I'm just drawing this straight, but then you know the point B may be here, it may be down here. So if I have to find the distance between these two houses, I can use this formula. Okay, let's say this is point P. Okay, point P, and this will be point Q. This house in point P and the house in point Q, I'll use this formula. Okay, x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 whole thing square. Okay.